Okay, so we are here on the Evolve podcast officially. We have our two epic influencers that we're so lucky to have. And I felt like it was only fair that I shared their stories, their success, their wins, their progress. I feel like as a fitness facility, we have an obligation to help more people. And what better way to do it than to share inspiration, progress, and wisdom from women who have actually been living, breathing, sleeping, kind of what we do and what we encompass and what we're all about. So, let me introduce you to our two epic guests. So, first of all, who are you? What do you do? Kind of why do you do it? And then we'll go from there.
You can go first. Oh, hi. Well, I'm Laura, or Laura Loves Belfast, as everybody will know me as. I am, everybody knows me possibly for fashion content on Instagram and sharing my life with Little Peanut.
Amazing. So tell me a little bit about Little Peanut then. Like, how is your life as a mum? What does that look like for you?
Well, it's obviously a little different because I am a mum and a full-time carer for my little boy. So he is 12, soon to be 13, and my life is completely chaotic, organized chaos, as I like to call it, and very interesting, probably very different from anybody else's, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
So the reason I want to go a little bit further on this is
Yeah.
because I know just how many women struggle with being busy
Yeah.
and how many women struggle with feeling overwhelmed at their schedule about what's going on in their current day-to-day routine. So I suppose for you, Laura, obviously with Peanut, tell me a little bit about like what your routine looks like, start to finish in a day, with him, and I think that's going to provide a lot of inspiration for women who struggle with time and scheduling as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that was probably what held me back the most was my mindset and how I perceived my life. So it starts off with from a 4 a.m., latest maybe 5, on occasion 6 a.m. start. And he is fully dependent on me. All his care and needs, every single thing from toileting to brushing his teeth, I still feed him. He is on pureed food. He obviously has a lot of medications. There obviously is a break when he goes to school, but I still need to be on standby should they need me for any reasons. Comes home at 3 o'clock, more medication, toileting, changing, things like that. Getting into dinner time, go straight into dinner. He's on a weight gain process, so his dinners are very different to mine because he needs to gain weight. Into bathing, getting him ready for bed, get him settled down, more medication, trying to get him to sleep. He does not sleep, unfortunately. Think of it like a newborn. So he wakes about every 2-3 hours, and that would be either for medication or for a feed, and then I need to get him back to sleep again. And that is on repeat 7 days a week.
And that, for anyone who's struggling with time, I hope opens your eyes to the possibility that maybe time isn't the issue.
Yeah.
Maybe it's your thought process around your perceived lack of available time. And I think what you do really well is you've looked at health and fitness as something that has made your ability to handle Peanut easier because you actually operate from a place of having more energy, and having the strength. Like, there's a lot of strength involved in what you're doing as well. Obviously with a 13-year-old now, like it's a different ball game from a toddler, from a baby.
Completely.
But in actual fact, the strain on you is so high, so you kind of can't afford to not be at your best. I would probably argue that point.
100% agreed. That was the first big win from joining Evolve that I noticed was my strength. It's just simple tasks like always having to have my dad or my brother on hand for going to do the Tesco shop. So the Tesco shop for me is obviously loading the wheelchair into the car, which is in 2 pieces. Then I need to load Peanut into the car. I drive to Tesco, I need to unload the chair. I need to unload Peanut. I then need to get a trolley, push a trolley and Peanut. And get your shopping and get all that back into the car, get it back to the house and get out. So it's a lot. And I would have always needed somebody with me. Always. And about 4 weeks ago, I went to IKEA with Peanut and bought 3 sets of drawers on my own.
That's insane.
And pushed him these drawers to the point where the lady at the checkout was like, do you want somebody to give you a hand? And I'm like, no, I'm good.
I was literally just going to say that, and you do it with a smile on your face.
No, the only obstacle was how was I going to fit the wheelchair, the babysit Peanut, and these 4 sets of drawers. So it was like Jenga trying to get it into my car. I didn't think that much through because I was like, I've got this. I'm strong. I'm independent. And then got to the car and was like, oh, my car's not as big as I remember.
Amazing. So going across then to our next influencer then, and special guest, obviously my partner. We have the lovely Andrea. So listen, the easiest way for me to probably run through this is, again, you're going to share similar struggles and similar challenges that most, in fact, all new mums do feel. You know, it's a totally different world that's open up to. The fact that you've got 2 under 3 makes it definitely more challenging. So again, going to be a lot of relatability for the women that are listening to this, which is, I would say, probably 70% of who we train are women over the ages of 25. So tell me a little bit about who you are, what you do, and your relationship with health and fitness.
So I am Andrea. I have 2 babies under 3. I am 28 years of age, and currently I am what feels like a full-time mummy, a self-employed businesswoman, now going more into the influencing content creating side of things. So toddler tantrums at the minute, night feeds at the minute, and just trying to balance it all together and still fit health and fitness into my routine weekly, if not daily, with trying to keep a sane head.
So what would you say are fundamentals that every new mum should have locked down to manage their energy in the stage that you're at specifically?
When you need to take a minute, run away from your kids. No, only joking. Just breathe. I feel like when you don't want to prioritize yourself, the good thing is you push me to prioritize myself, but when you don't want to prioritize yourself, that's when you should do it. Like, how many times have we went to go to the gym and you're like, this is the last time we actually drive to the gym, we're like, I don't want to go in, should we go in? And then I'm like, should we just go get a Guinness? I'm joking. But how many times, and the minute we train, or the minute you, like even the other day, for example, I text him saying I'm going to take a breakdown, and he got home, was like, right, you need to go and do the class. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do the class, I want to get in my car and drive and cry. And he was like, that's when you have to go. And I trained for 31 minutes as hard as I could, and I came back a better partner and a better mum.
Tell me a little bit, sorry, because I feel like this is an important anecdote, but tell me a little bit about how hard you trained.
That I was sitting on the bench and I physically couldn't breathe. I thought I was going to pass away, and there was steam coming off my forehead. There was actual steam going off my forehead. That's how much I struggle with my day, because if Callie wasn't taking a breakdown, Celia's teething, there was just a lot of tears, I wants, I needs, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I was either going to drive in my car to a field and cry, or go and train as hard as I can to let go of all that, it's stress, and come home a better person. And when I got home, Aaron was like, she hasn't stopped crying. And I had the time and the energy to sit with her, and I just felt instantly like I was a better mum. Like, I could sit and play with Callie, I could sit and put Celia to sleep without feeling like I was going to pull my hair physically out of my head.
Yeah, 100%. You can tell, like, as a man anyway, like, I can tell when you're highly strung, when you're highly stressed, when you need a minute.
That's my stress. I was just like hunched.
Yeah,
and
I think training's the best thing for that. It just provides you a healthy outlet, and then you're just far more health conscious. You release them, endorphins, whereby all the stress, the tension that you've built up, you've now provided an outlet for it. Whereas most people don't. Most people's outlet that we see, that typically come in to see us, is like a bottle of wine, or it's just like sitting on the sofa and eating crap.
I understand that too.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I feel like
100%.
if it gets to about 4 o'clock in the day, and I'm like, there could be a bottle of wine left from Christmas, and I might open it. But like, the difference between going to a bottle of wine and going and training, even though you're swaying towards the wine more, it's a lot more energy to go and train. It's a lot more energy to be healthy in a way, because it's easy to run to the shop and grab a bar of chocolate and shove it into yourself, and you're like, oh, I feel full for the next hour. Do you know, it is a lot more effort, but the minute you get into a routine and you put the effort into that, once you get into that routine, it's just routine, and it's the same shopping, and it's the same, you know, flow nearly.
Yeah, I think you're looking at like what's in your current routine that is killing you. Like, what are the daily decisions that you know you should be making but you're not making because you're just letting the wine take over, you're letting the junk food take over, you're letting that extra hour of Netflix take over. Whereas in the same space of time, you could feel better, completely have released all the stress that has been built up, and come back into the home like a better person, you know, like having energy, having confidence, having a sense of achievement. Like, that's what comes with that. Whereas I feel like when you stack one bad habit, it sticks into the next, and then they compound. And then most people just get to that breaking point where they're like, something has to give here. Yeah. So if you're at that stage, understand that everyone in this room right now has also been at that stage. And there is a way out. And I hope at the end of this podcast that between what Andrea is sharing and what Laura is sharing, that you have complete confidence and clarity in exactly what to do to put a dent in this if you're feeling like you're in that rut. So next question for us. I think we've covered a really good chunk there about what's unique about your situation, Laura. Since I've met you, I've took inspiration from you when I heard your routine. I think I was in the thick of just Cali when I met you, and in comparison, it's not even comparable, you know. And you know, for me, it's like I said, you do it with a smile on your face, and I think that is what is so unique about you, and that's what I love about you. There's just so much energy. There's always good vibes coming, and that goes a long way, especially in a gym environment. You want your gym to be filled with friendly, welcoming people, you know, and you've been an absolute incredible asset for us. So the question that I want to unpack now is, what are the biggest misconceptions you had about health and fitness before you started?
Oh, good question. The biggest ones personally I had that I can share right now, and I'm sure it goes through everybody's head, was my plate's full. That was my first thing, is my plate is full. I'm busy. I'm a mum. I go to work. I'm a carer. My life is 24/7. Where the heck am I going to fit this in? Second of all was the side of Peanut. I am, my time with him is precious. It really is. Like, I appreciate every single second of every minute of every day I have with him, which is probably why the smile on my face. Like, I'm just so, I like to spend my time with him. And I had this preconception that my time needed 24/7 had to be with him, and it was only on a very rare occasions that I would take something for myself. Second of all was the energy, that he needed my energy. So if I had any spare energy that I could have took to the gym, I needed to spend that on him. I should have took him to the park or take him out a walk to get fresh air, or save that energy. Because what if it was a bad night? The likes of 2 nights ago, he was up for 23 hours. He slept for 1 hour. 1 hour. And this was, I need to save that. What if he has a bad night? What if he has seizure activity and he needs me to be on call during the night? Like, I don't have time for the gym. I don't have the energy for the gym.
100%. And I suppose the gap in your progress is identifying, you know, what them thoughts were costing you. So having experienced them thoughts and them emotions, and I know so many, like, I've genuinely consulted thousands of women one-to-one, face-to-face over a decade. So I know what you're saying is echoed by women across the country. So, I mean, the gap for you is what it was costing you to think like that, but how has your perception now then shifted? Like, what would you say to yourself or a woman sitting watching this now who's like, I absolutely echo what you're saying, Laura. You know, I don't have time. I don't have energy. You know, I need to protect what I have because I can't give what I don't have. So, you know, that's totally common for women to feel like that. So transferring your energy and changing your thought process and thinking around it, you know, what's different?
Oh, the amount of energy that I have now, and the amount of strength I have now. And yes, I've always said this from the start. The first, I would have said 4 weeks was tough. it was tough because I was so set into a routine, my old routine, where I wasn't getting a proper night's sleep. I wasn't prioritizing sleep. I wasn't eating the right foods. So for me to go into the gym and training environment with that background, it was very, very hard for me. But you obviously kept me going and just kept me on the straight and narrow. It was like, you need to be there. You need to be there 3 times a week. And the results I seen from that, literally after 4 weeks, it became routine. It became so much easier. It was almost like the new routine was the old routine. It fitted into my life. And the fact now is I've got so much more strength for Little Peanut. Before I couldn't have just decided, do you know what, we're going to go to Carrick, because I wouldn't have had the energy for that. Do you know what? We're going to go to the park and I'm going to take you on the big slide, which my child had never been on. God bless him, 12 years of his life, had never been on this big slide, because there is like 4 sets of steps to get up it. And I slung that child onto my back and I climbed it like some sort of gorilla.
King
and
Kong.
literally strapped to my back. And I mean, one of these is through a tunnel too. And I was like, right, breathe in, breathe in.
Indiana Jones movie.
Breathe in, with every parent looking at me going, what is she doing? My child, I did not care, was loving his little life, because I could feel the saliva going down the back of my neck with the laughs coming out of him. Oh. And that isn't something I have never done with him, or would have had the confidence or even the physical ability to do before joining Evolve. Like, the only way I can describe it is I've opened this whole new world for my child, a whole new world to explore that he would have never seen had I not joined Evolve.
That's amazing. Incredible. That's absolutely epic.
Unreal.
So, breaking them thought patterns, right? What worked? How did you break them thought patterns? Like, did you reinforce different thought patterns? Do you talk to yourself differently? Like, where are you in your head on a day-to-day now versus where you were?
Yeah. I think it's being honest with yourself. So 100% being realistic with yourself. So as I said, the first 4 weeks were very hard for me. So there was a lot of communication, as you know, back and forth to see if I had followed every single step that you had given me. And I was able to honestly say, the food's 50-50, the steps, there are 20%. And I'm at the gym 3 times a week. But by week 8, obviously, having them conversations back and forth, you were like, you need to follow the plan right through, start to finish. And I seen the benefits of that. The weight started to come off, my body started to change, my energy levels changed. And them changes only started once I followed that plan you gave me, A right through to the end.
That's amazing. I think it's just a complete, I think there's a lot of trust there.
Yeah.
I think that's why it has worked so well. Like, albeit, we maybe had a bit of back and forth in the first 4 weeks, but like beyond that, if I had 1,000 Lauras in my gym.
I think as well, because I believe everything you told me, and everything that you promised me at the start, because I'd obviously said to you, I wanted, the reason I started this, I want to be the better and best version of me for my little boy.
Such good leverage.
Yeah, I don't want to limit what his abilities are in life because of my inabilities.
That's amazing. That's absolutely gold. And I think for any woman watching this as well, who's maybe there's a lesson there, and there's like, you need to find your leverage. You need to find your leverage in what it's costing you to not change. You need to find your leverage in what it's costing you to not be honest. And you need to find your leverage in what you're going to do about it, because you can change today. Yeah. Now.
Oh, and it's possible. That's like 100%. I am the breathing proof that it is actually possible.
I'm going to ask you something here then. So for a lot of women, they're looking for shortcuts, quick fixes, Ozempic at the minute. Why would you advise against that?
Obviously, I've seen it, and I even know people that take it. That's totally their choice. But it's a quick fix. If you're going to drop the weight. Is the weight going to stay off? Do you have them energy levels that I have now? You know, that I done it mainly for my lifestyle, for my family, as well as for me as well. You know, the highlight of my journey, obviously it is a massive perk, the fact that I feel incredible and the weight has dropped off. But the biggest win out of it all for me is the fact that I am so much stronger. I can physically lift my son. You know, the other day he went to jump off the shower chair. Just something very, very simple. Got too excited, wanted to grab the iPad. And I was able...
Intrusive thoughts there got the better of him.
Yeah. And I was able to grab him. Whereas, you know, I maybe wouldn't have had the strength to save him from a fall. And he's only had spinal surgery 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
it's high risk.
It is, you know, it's massive now to make sure he doesn't fall. You know, having the energy when he comes home from school, if he is full of... When he comes home from school, if I know he's not going to sleep, because I know he's buzzing, he's literally buzzing, even when he's had his tea and he's had his bath and he is still running at 100%, I know we're not in for a good night. But my day's not done. My energies aren't tapped out. Let's get into the chart. Let's get wrapped up. Let's pound that pavement, get the fresh air. I've drove to Carrickfergus before because sea air is a miracle worker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about sea air and kids, but it makes them sleep.
Yeah, that's good to know, to be fair.
100%. And there's me with this little wheelchair pointing up and down the promenade.
That's amazing, Laura.
Back and forth. And at a random hour with a wee beanie with a headlight on it.
You've done it 12 at night.
That's epic.
That's unreal.
That's
To
so
guarantee that, first of all, for him, because I know he is going to be the best version of him because he's had the best night's sleep. And again, that in turn gives me the best night's sleep of my life.
Yeah.
Any sleep.
Yeah. 100%. That's amazing. That was really good. So next then for Andrea, I suppose big question for you, but you know, what were you've did a lot of health and fitness even before I met you, so based on some of the misconceptions that you had about health and fitness before you started with me, you know, what has completely changed, or what have we debunked, or how do you view things now versus when you used to?
I'm going to answer this very well. So, what I used to think, because I used to be told that you need to be in the gym 3 hours a day. You need to be on the treadmill for at least an hour a day. You know, like when it comes to eating, it was like, and I have been on the scale of like underweight, like size 6, tiny, ribs sticking out, to not slightly overweight, carrying a good bit of weight, like for me. And I mean, like the advice on how long you have to be in the gym and the calories that you have to eat, like 1,100 calories. Like there was a stage where I was like prepping for like a photo shoot type of thing. I was only like 18, 19 at the time. And I can remember the last week it was like chicken breast, 2 hours later, tin of tuna, 2 hours later, chicken breast, 2 hours later, salmon. And that, like, when I mean that was it, and drink 78 litres of water. And I remember being like, I remember saying, I don't feel well. And the girl at the time was just like, but you're not meant to feel well. And I was like, right, okay, well, let's go, not feeling well, you know. And that was obviously at the time, that's the advice I was given. You're paying someone for their service, so you're going with what they're saying. Whereas now, it's like, I can go in and train for a half an hour. If I only have a half an hour to train, 45 minutes max, you know, like my calories, you can have a glass of red wine at the weekend if you want a glass of red wine, you know, like you're not starving yourself. You're not like, I have a sweet tooth. We all know I have a sweet tooth. I'm still allowed a biscuit at night. Do you know, like, just don't eat the whole packet. It's just my mindset around health and fitness has been enjoyable. Like, there's never been a stage since I've been at Evolve that I'm like, oh, I'm dreading this, or I'm not eating that much and I'm starving, or I've been in the gym for 4 hours today. Do you know, like, since I've joined Evolve, it's never been that. It's like you train 3 times a week for 45 minutes and you're given a plan. And again, like as Laura said, do you know, we've all been at the stage we've tried to cut corners. Like, he told me I can have 2,000 calories, but I'll eat the 1,600 calories because, do you know, I want a quick fix. Whereas you're like, if you're given a plan, which the plans that evolve are 100%. If you follow that and you don't cut corners and you do what the professional tells you to do, you will see results. Do you know, it's like there's been never, obviously it's been hard for me because I feel like I've been pregnant for 3 years. Callie got to 1 pregnant again, do you know, so I feel like I haven't been able to give like 100% in what feels like 2.5 years. But if you're given a plan to evolve and you stick by it, like I've seen firsthand, I watch every transformation story and everyone's feedback. Like if you do what you're told by the professional, you can literally change your life.
100% echo that. I think a lot of people hear this plan, it sounds very rigid and that there's no maneuverability inside or outside of it, but I think the fundamentals of the plan are very much, well, tell us a little bit about your situation. There is no way Laura's plan works for Andrea, there's no way Andrea's plan works for Laura. There's fundamentals in both plans. It'll be similar, but at the same time, like, we have to take the individual into consideration. And one of the biggest misconceptions and problems I see from coaches is that they don't meet the client where they're at. It's quite generic vanilla advice that just works for everyone. But if you don't have context on that person's schedule, if you don't have context on what times they're eating, you know, again, their family circumstances, their professional circumstances, do they have travel involved in work, you know, all these things then encompass what a plan's going to be. And I think from my experience anyway, if we just break a plan down into here's our outcomes over the next quarter, because you have to at least commit a portion of your time toward achieving the result. And then we just go off, listen, here's what 30 days needs to look like for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, really simple. And then you build on that rather than adding a ton of complexity, 1,100 calories, you know, an hour in the gym and then an hour on a Stairmaster or an hour on a treadmill. You know, it defeats what's actually possible and realistic for people.
But you just end up resenting then the program and the gym that you're at. Like it becomes more of a dread than like a want to be there. It's like I can remember there was, when I was training for that full shoot again, it was kind of like treadmill for an hour in the morning, come in, do your strength session, train for a treadmill again that night for an hour. And I was like, this is 3 hours of back and forth and back. And I didn't drive at the time, so it was like, whereas I feel like what people don't realise is like when you go into Evolve, it's you train as hard as you can strength, and then you do train as hard as you can cardio, and you've done that all in 45 minutes, you know, and it's just like that. It just flows so nicely and so easy, and you look forward to coming in because you're like, I'm getting this all done in 45 minutes and then I can go home and breathe. You know, it's not like I've never, since I've known you, ever been told to stay in the gym more than 45 minutes. You know, so it's like it doesn't take up loads of your time, like especially if you have a busy routine, you can't be in the gym for that long.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Like, just because you could be in the gym for 3 hours doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
You know, 3 hours over the week, 100% makes sense. 3 hours in a day is just like abnormal behavior, abnormal results. If you want your ribs to show, class, do that. But like, we speak beginner, you know, it's typically women who are afraid of the gym that come to us, typically women who don't have good relationships with the gym.
But then become obsessed with the gym.
Yeah, our clients do become obsessed because we don't force anything. We don't, like, it's very much how the individual interprets the information that we give them. Some people just get the information and just boom, overnight they see the results, they build the momentum, they become obsessed and with the progress and at how easy they probably find
and
it.
Obsessed with feeling good as well.
Well, that's the new. I think that's where it is now. Like in the world now, alcohol and the culture seems to have like backed off a bit. Like people are more looking to optimize their routines, how they look, how they feel, how they perform. I think people are way more health conscious when it comes to the longevity, how they want their kids to view them with their behaviors, because we know they're going to mirror you know, who we are and what habits we have. So I think having that together inside your routine should be non-negotiable for everyone, to be fair. So for us, moving past that then, I really want to dive into what have been your 5 biggest wins since starting, Laura. So since you started, you know, tell us a little bit about the timeline of your journey and what has kind of went on there.
Yeah. So mine would have been a year at the start of February coming, when I started my 90-day accelerator program. So
that's crazy.
I know.
I remember I had your name on my whiteboard in my old house, and I was like, we're going to work with her.
He did?
I swear.
Oh, God. gosh, it's so bizarre because it all came about because we met at an event.
Yeah.
Do you remember? And I think that's probably how my name probably came on both your radars. Like initially,
because I remember going back and telling him about, you told me at the event about your routine. I was like, I remember even being like, why am I complaining about a 1-year-old? And I went back and told him, and I was like, oh, she'd be amazing in the gym. And I was right.
I know. Well, you two, little did you know I'd never even been inside a gym.
Well, here, a year later.
Oh gosh, yeah. But the 90-day accelerator program it changed everything for me. The way I can describe it, I'm sure you can describe it much better than me. It is almost like a smoking habit. It was me. I was on my 90-day accelerator program to break out of this really bad habit that I was addicted to. Mm-hmm. And that's what the 90-day accelerator program done for me.
It's amazing.
Amazing. So to date then, like, what has changed for you in your weight? Where's your cardio? Where's your strength? Like, what can you lift? Any numbers for us?
Oh gosh. Do you know what? Oh my gosh, you're on the spot. I want to open my wee Evolve app so I can look at it. I can look at everything.
What I mean, what's changed? Like, what's your total weight loss been to date?
So when I first started, I was 79 kg, and I'm now coming in at 66.
Incredible. And you've built considerable amount of lean muscle tissue.
100%. 4 dress sizes.
That's amazing.
It's 3 officially. I'm squeezing into that 4, so we're nearly
It's
there.
It's
So
4. It's 4.
I am giving myself that 4. I don't care if I have to lie in the bed to zip my jeans up. They go up.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then what about you, Andrea? So, like, what have been your biggest wins? You know, like, how have you gathered momentum inside your training, and like what's changed?
Well, I feel like I haven't been able to give it 100% yet because I've been pregnant for so long. But so far into January 2025, energy, just feeling good in your clothes. I think that's a massive thing for women. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I need to be a size 6. It's, do you still wear a size 10, but do you feel good in that size 10? Do you know what I mean? It's like, just carrying that extra bit of weight, getting rid of that, I'm feeling good. Like, I feel like my thing is when I go 100% at it and I eat good and I train well, I have a spring in my step. That's the only way I can describe it. I'm happier. So I feel like my main thing was like that, like becoming a better person, feeling good within my clothes, and hopefully by February, my birthday, that we're feeling even better.
And
It's just it's a whole new confidence thing, isn't it?
I lost my lid. Yeah.
But as you said, I feel like the culture, like my mum and dad's culture compared to the way our culture's going now, do you know, people do rely on or like fall back on having a drink, which I get. But I think that the new way of living, especially when I look at like the likes of students, back in the day when you became a student, even like it was the thing to go out and party for 3-4 days. Whereas if I ever have student clients in now, people are obsessed with drinking smoothies. People are obsessed with health. Do you know, like people, like the younger generation, our generation now, want to go down that avenue. So I feel like the new way to feel is good, whereas drink and stuff doesn't make you feel that good.
Yeah, it's a culture shift. Like,
yeah.
I think it's definitely there. No question. Moving beyond that, then. So I suppose for both of you, like starting with Laura, but you know, what have been your biggest challenges and roadblocks since starting?
Oh gosh, biggest challenges. Joe, my biggest roadblock was me. So is the confidence and believing in myself and overcoming that fear of what I couldn't do instead of focusing on what I could do.
So good. There's so much in that. Like, I think that internal dialogue and the conversation you have with yourself is everything. You know, it's going to cost probably more energy to tell yourself there's no way I can do this, there's no way I can go today, I don't want to train today, oh, I missed that meal, so I'm just going to eat crap. You know, if you just are like, you know, well, what can I do right now? Like, what can I do right now? You know, showing more self-belief. Like, for a lot of people watching this, they probably wouldn't speak to their worst enemies the way they speak to themselves at times. So I think hugely your success in health and fitness in anything is going to come down to the conversation that you have with yourself and what you perceive yourself to be actually able to do. I think that's absolutely amazing. So what about you, Andrea, then? Like, tell me what kind of roadblocks you have overcame when it came to, you know, creating results inside your health and fitness.
Probably just finding the time. Not really having much help. Like in my head, I'm like, if I don't have the kids or I'm getting the kids minded, I prioritize my work. Do you know? Whereas I feel like I've kind of, it's the guilt of prioritizing yourself in any form of way. I understand why people probably don't do it because the mum guilt takes over and you're like, I could be doing, as you said, I could be doing this with the kids, or if you're not doing that, I should be creating content, or I should be pushing, because you always think about your kids, because I could be getting this for the kids, or I could be doing this with the kids. But it's taking that time. You know, it's beating down that guilty feeling, overcoming that, and being like, again, you prioritize yourself, you become a better person for everyone in the house. And you're creating a better example for your kids as well. You know, we have a toddler at the minute, and very much so, like, I watch her watch us, or like even like when you're sitting at the dinner table, if you're eating something or you're making up a sandwich, like she's watching and she's repeating. So it's like, if you make that your normal, you can make that normal in your house, and you're setting a better example, not just for yourself but for everyone around you as well.
100%. I think changing the conversation that you have in the house around health and fitness, around it not being a chore, around it being something that can actually complement your routine. You know, it doesn't have to be this monotonous, hateful thing that's really alien to you, regardless of what you've done before. You know, there's some great gyms out there and there's some great coaches out there as well. So I think people leaning more toward like a more professional coach who's going to lay out a roadmap for the individual specifically, rather than, you know, bring them into a group setting and just beast them, leave them on the floor. You know, that's not what health and fitness is. Anybody could do that. But certainly, you know, I think what you guys are teaching right now from experience is so good, because, you know, so much of it has come down to like how you're interpreting what health and fitness is going to be for you. You know, it doesn't have to be riddled in mum guilt. It doesn't have to be riddled in I'm not going to have that energy anymore. It's quite the opposite to that. So you guys are doing a great job of really helping women overcome that as well, because I know so many women do think and feel the same way. So, question then, you know, what advice would you give to a woman who is struggling with them things, with mum guilt or with feeling like it's going to deprive my energy?
It is the polar opposite. Completely the polar opposite. I now think of Evolve as my coping mechanism. Mm-hmm. So honestly, when anything ever goes wrong with Little Peanut, with his health, or at home, or just day-to-day life, you know, you've had a bad day in work, a bad customer or something, you know, anything happens that, you know, yourself triggers you. Like, my first train of thought is, get onto the app, when can I get in? Like, and to the point where the class is maybe fully booked and I've drove down in the hope that somebody is going to cancel, sat outside for 15 minutes before classes, and next thing you know, somebody's dropped off the session. I'm like, results. You know, that's how much. And I was going to go in and act dumb and be like, oh, was I on the waiting list? I am
That's
here.
the best way to do it. Just play it dumb.
Sorry, I didn't realise. Lies. Just because this is how I need it. That's how I was going to fix my day. And if it didn't fix the day, it was going to fix me, to make me a better person so I could go in and deal with that day, rather than get sucked into that negativity and that headspace where it destroys 3 days of your life instead of just those couple of hours.
100%. And when it comes to you then, Andrea, what about you? Like, what would you say to a woman that, you know, mum specifically, that is struggling with mum guilt then, and overcoming that?
Okay, I think sometimes what I do is I put everyone before me, and then I'll do it for like a month, and then after the month I'll take a breakdown, and then it's like, it's just got to a point now where like I have to prioritize myself. And again, it's one of those things, you feel guilty. I was actually speaking about this the other day. It's like, the guilt feeling comes with like anxiety and that feeling bad, and you know, once you start to do it and you get that into your routine, it doesn't become a guilty feeling anymore, because you know you're going to come back a better person. Do you know what I mean? You just have to like, as bad as like as easy as it sounds, and it's not as easy for some people. You just have to do it, because once you do it and it becomes daily, weekly, whatever, how much you can fit in, it's a non-negotiable. Do you know?
100%. I think that just taking action, it just alleviates that anxiety, because you know you've done something proactive rather than just sitting and shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to break that, the decision making process into just instant. I need to do this kind of thing.
And now going to the gym for a minimum, I like to go 3 times a week, but my non-negotiable is 2. But that is now so part of my routine. It's like brushing my teeth. Like, who gets up in the morning and doesn't brush their teeth? That's
Very true.
Yeah.
that is how I view my 2 sessions a week at the gym.
That's a very good frame, because it's such a normal thing to do. Like, you have what, and it is, and it should be, because it's like you have one body.
Yeah.
You literally have one body the rest of your life, and if you're lucky enough to be on this planet 80 to 100 plus years, you have an obligation to take care of yourself. You have an obligation to understand what works for you.
Yeah.
You have an obligation to understand how to coach your kids. Mm-hmm. You know, I think it's such a powerful frame.
And I feel that I'm under an obligation now, and this is a complete different mindset for me. Is not only does that apply to me, but that applies to my son.
Yeah.
If I don't have the ability to walk, if I have a bad back, I have a bad knee, if I have a bad leg, because I haven't looked after myself, my child has no life. None.
The stakes are high.
You know, I am his body,
Yeah.
and I'm looking after mine so he can have his.
Yeah, that's
Amazing.
very, very true.
And it's just took me to find you.
We found
realise
well, we found each other. We found each other. That's incredible. So probably last couple of questions then, from the horse's mouth of both of yous, but like, 1, why would you recommend Evolve if you would? 2, who's it for? 3, who's it not for?
All right, you're gonna have to repeat that. That was 3 questions in one.
So 1, would you recommend Evolve, and why? I'll start with that.
Okay, start with first. Definitely, obviously, I'm gonna say yes. I feel the pressure. You're sitting right in front of me.
You have to say behind the camera.
There's like 3 sets of steps coming out of here, and I want to go down them on my feet, not on my head. No, but honestly, 100%. And the reason for it is it works. It works.
If you work. It works if you work.
100%. But I think something unique is I have a very different set of circumstances, and I think, or I felt like my program was very much built around what I needed. For example, Joe, like my small goals towards my big wins, like that really, really worked for me. Like, I love that, because I like to feel like I'm winning in life.
Absolutely. It's so important though. Is like, one of my favorite quotes is, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. You know, you set these 90-day targets, 24 pounds. To lose 24 pounds is like, ooh, it's going to be a lot. And then you break it down into, like, you know, weekly, into monthly. It's not crazy. It's not crazy with the right habits, with the right mindset, with the right behaviors, with the right people, the right environment.
And I'll be honest, like, whenever you first approached me about doing this, I don't know if you all remember, I had a holiday booked. So this was the February, and I had a holiday booked for the May. And I remember thinking to myself, this sounds great, because I would love to lose a bit of weight for this holiday. I'd love to look good. You know, like, you know, who doesn't want to look,
Yeah, of course.
you know, better when they go on holiday, whenever you have no choice but to wear swimwear. And that was my mindset, was I'll do it because I want to look good for this holiday. And now I couldn't imagine this not being part of my life. As I say, this is my coping mechanism. If I wasn't part of this, I don't know what my coping mechanism would be.
Yeah, it's like therapy.
It really is.
It's like therapy. You leave and you're like, I can breathe again. It's like all the troubles or all the worries you build up in your head, the minute you train or the minute you go into that environment, because Evolve is just surrounded by such good people that have been there and not left because they believe in their community as well. It's like therapy. You literally leave feeling like a better person.
100%. And the fact is, I am proof that you are going to get the results. If you put in what you're asked to give, you're going to get back what they're telling you they're selling.
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing. Like we're not in the business of not delivering results. Like you are a walking, talking project. The minute we have a conversation, you're a project. You're not a client. You're a project. We have a job to do, and it is our duty to get it done and make sure you get an ROI on your time.
100%.
First and foremost, never mind money. You know, and I think that's what it gives you. It gives you that stamp of approval that we do what we say we were going to do, and we'll guide you every step of the way without feeling. Oh, this is just not realistic for me, you know.
Or like this incredible pressure. I never felt like I had like this. I never felt like it was a burden.
No.
Or that I was being over pushed. I definitely was pushed, but there was that fine line where it was never pushed beyond my limits. It's so hard for me to explain that. Someone that believes in you that much, but also helps build your confidence to believe in yourself just as much.
Yeah, I think that's everything. You want people, like for me, it's about how you leave after each visit. I want every time you come to my gym to leave feeling better, irrespective of what's going on in your life. The world's burning down. That was a great day. That was a great session. That was a good hour, you know.
100%. And there's times where I've walked in and maybe we're lifting weights and I'm only lifting half of what I'd lifted maybe the previous couple of weeks. But, you know, the circumstances could be I had 2 hours sleep.
Exactly.
Little Peanuts had surgery. This is like my first week back. Like all them things are taken into consideration. So you know that when you go in there, I'll always be like, whether I've had a good session, a normal session, a personal best, I always come out feeling like I've won.
Yeah.
I never come out feeling defeated.
No, that's so important. We have a kind of saying within the team, and it's like, this is the Goldilocks approach. Every day is a new day to give the Goldilocks approach, because every day is going to create new challenges in people's lives. For example, I came in overly stressed. Well, we know exercise is going to stress you, so we need to actually pull back here. You know, that's the importance of coaching. It's not, well, you had an hour's sleep, tough shit. You know, it's that approach just destroys people, because what psychologically that does to people, whether you like to admit it or not, if every single day you go to the gym, you train yourself into the ground, on a day when you feel like I cannot do this today, cancelling that session happens 9 times out of 10, because you associate your training with leaving you feeling wrecked, leaving you feeling worse than. Whereas when you have autonomy over your session and over the volume that you do based on how you feel, based on what's going on in your life there and then, it completely changes the experience from all or nothing to just feeling like this is easy to keep up.
Yeah.
Because I have control over it. You know, that's what we do. We put our clients in the driving seat. And I think then the next question for me, and I'll finish on this one, but like, who's of all 4? Who's it not for?
Literally everybody. Like, not even joking. I don't care what your physical abilities are. I don't care what age you are. It is for absolutely everybody, because that's how bespoke it is. And second of all, the community. That I've never met a nicer, more supportive bunch of people. And that is not only obviously the trainers and the owners, and I have to say that he's sitting across from me. It is the people that are there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like a magnet for just great positive energy, and people are going to help you push through.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
All together. There's no negativity. No. There's no weird looks.
There's no competition.
No mirrors.
There's no mirrors. And there's no, you don't have to buy the full set of gym wear.
You don't have to do your makeup.
Nah.
You know, I don't go wear makeup. That's the thing. 100%. And there's no, you don't have to, there's no preconceptions. You can go as and when you want, in any state you want, and nobody cares because we're all there for the one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's amazing. That's amazing. Andrea, then I have the same question, which was, would you recommend Evolve and why? And you obviously have no choice in this one. Laura had
I
a
wouldn't
bit of wiggle
recommend
room, but you
Evolve,
had
and the
none.
reason why I wouldn't recommend Evolve is, I'm joking, I 100% would recommend Evolve to everybody and anybody. As Laura said, there's no, like, it's not for a specific person, do you know, like, it's for anyone and everyone. Like, your programming or your diet, it is structured around your lifestyle. It is bespoke to you, and you know, it's not that you go and you get copied and pasted this message on Facebook and it's like, eat this and, you know, avoid this and all. It's really bespoke to you, to a point where you're like, it's everything that you're given is achievable. Like, again, as Laura said, the small goals that are given, like, and it's broke down in that way. I feel like especially with women, that's just the way my mind works. Like, I need things to be broken down, because if something seems too big and too much, I'll be like, it'll overwhelm me, and then I'll overthink it, and I'll be like, I'm not doing it. Whereas, like, that, breaking it down, you're laughing.
No, because it's so true.
Because
It's so
you
true.
break it down in small steps, and you're like, and again, as you said, it's like that winning feeling. Oh my God, I did train 3 times this week. I've won because I've ticked off that box. Do you know, like, oh, I hit my protein today. That's another thing you've ticked off. You do that for 4 weeks, and then 4 weeks that's in your routine, and then we give another 4 goals, and then that's 8 goals. But the 4 have already in your routine, so you're kind of starting again. Do you know, and then things become easy because it just falls into place. Do you know, it's not that overwhelming feeling of, oh my God, I have to do this. Do you know, it's broken down, it's simplified, and it's made easy by the coaches and the owner of Evolve.
I think that's the thing, though. It's like, you really need to be focusing on 3 to 5 key things a week. That's it. Just tick that, tick that, tick that, tick that. Done, you're good. And that's what I like the most about what we do now. It's very individual. It's very bespoke. It's very much, here's your 30-day roadmap. Let's go. Let's go.
And the thing is, I don't know what the next question is going to be, but when it's who would you recommend Evolve and who would you not, there's nobody that you couldn't recommend Evolve, because I've went into classes and there have been men that are 62 and deadlifting 140 kilos, and I'm like it's you nearly go in and see, like, the impossible become possible. Like, I've never been in a unit or an environment that I've seen 50, 60-year-old women working harder than me. They put me to shame. I'm like, what? Like, do you know, I've seen girls, and it's not even about how heavy you can lift. You might be amazing at lifting and you're not really great at cardio, or, do you know, you're amazing at cardio, do you know, like, the vice versa. Do you know, it's like, I've been in classes that I've trained with 5 guys and 5 women, and everyone's so different, but weirdly enough so similar. Do you know what I mean? I've never went into a class that I've been like, don't really like that person. Oh, that person gives dirty looks, or they make me feel uncomfortable. You're literally in an environment. If you're a happy, easygoing, just likes the crack, wants to train and go home and tick off another week, that's the people that are in Evolve. Whether, again, male, female, 26, 62, like, everyone's there for the same reason. Everyone's kind of the same person.
And it might be the one session that you're in. So we say there's 8 of us in a session. That's the one thing I loved as well. It's still a bespoke session for every 8 of those people that are in there, because there is maybe a 60-odd-year-old man. There could be me. There could be someone younger, somebody with a bad shoulder, somebody with health conditions. You know, we're all there with the same goals and with the same sort of workout or the plan for that day. But that then gets broke down for every individual person that's in there that day. So you're almost doing your own thing whilst you're in there. I've never seen that. It's kind of like, well, you can't do that, go lift those dumbbells. You know, or scoot it up.
Do you know, and the thing is, it's like when you're training as well, like, I used to be like, I like training by myself. I don't like training with anybody, like tunnel vision. But weirdly enough, you enjoy training with all these people, because, as Laura said, it's so bespoke to you, to that individual. but you're also being cheered on. For example, I was doing a women's only, the female high performance class the other day, and we were like a set behind, and we have 40 burpees to do, and I was like, I could probably die. And it's weirdly enough at the end, like all the women, 25, 52, everyone was doing it with each other. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I would never probably been able to do that by myself, but it was like the help from everybody else. So it is small group personal training, that's what it is, but it's so individualized to you as well. That's what makes it the best of both worlds.
The camaraderie. Is that the word?
Camaraderie?
Yeah, camaraderie.
That's
the
big
word.
Yeah, I think that's
Don't ask me to spell it.
No, that's what we take a lot of pride in, though. So for us, it would always have been like centralized programming. So here's the main workout, here's a regressed version, here's a progressed version. Beyond that, now adding technology to have your very own individual app that's based off of, yes, this is our centralized programming, but here's what's unique for you inside this, and it's in your app 100%. With the coach in your pocket. So at no point you're standing there being like, what should I do again, or why should I do that? It's like you actually start to create way more buy-in, because people understand, number one, what they're doing, number two, why they're doing it, and number three, we're tracking data in the app. 100%. So it completely changes what you actually interpret personal training to be. Mm-hmm. Most personal trainers smoke a vape half an hour before the session, write the workout, if they're not winging it on the spot, 2 minutes before the session, and then it's kind of like, see you next week. Whereas it's the wraparound, it's the touch points, it's the individualization. That's what a personal training experience should be, and people are butchering it, which is good for us, but I mean it's terrible for people who are coming into contact with it. And I think for us, what we really want to do is empower people with the knowledge to actually be able to take control of it themselves. Like that's the overarching goal, you know. And you know, I always say, like, people come for a result, but they stay for the experience. So for us, we're always having to innovate on the experience and make sure that we're making sure that the product is as good as it can possibly be, and that the most important thing that I drive into the team is customer obsession. You know, that is what we've built our business on over the last 10 years. It's customer obsession, it's results.
I can say I feel that as somebody that goes to the gym. I completely feel that 100% when I walk in there. For example, during the week, we were doing weights as normal. And you know, just little things like I would ask, you know, what do you think I could lift here today? You know, because we've obviously started a new session, a new program, and you're kind of at that stage where it's me and my confidence more than anything. Yeah. You're just like, I think I had the bar loaded up with like 30, and then I think I turned around to Zoe and I was like, Zoe, do you think, where do I go next? You know, do you think I'm okay here? And she was like, yeah, you're fine. She was like, tell you what, she was like, stack that up to 35, give me 5. So then maybe had to push out 10, but she was like, give me 5. And like once I got to the 5, she was like 40 and another 5. You know, it was,
that's amazing.
You know,
that's culturally spot on.
Yeah. And because she was like, that was too easy for you. And I know by the end of that, I had hit where I needed to be, which has now set me up for next week's session, because I now know where to start, because I had somebody there that guided me the whole way. Even though I've been there a year, this is a new program. It's a new movement for me. And I underestimated my strength, and it was probably the fear of, I don't want to load this bar up with 50 kg and then literally pee myself as I lift it.
Or fall on my back or my chest.
Fair. That's amazing. I think for me, we've covered like a lot of ground there, covered everything I wanted to cover. I hope, like, and if you're watching this and you did get value from it and it did help you, please let us know. Like, message the girls, message me. We'd love to know what your struggles and challenges are, because I'm sure we're going to run this back again and do another one and cover some questions that you guys have. But for us, I just want to say thank you very much, both of you, and Ryan. Ryan, shout out, Ryan Proctor Productions, for all your podcast needs. But yeah, guys, honestly, thank you so much. It's been epic, and I know we're going to help a lot of people with this, which is epic.
Do you need my PayPal to pay me? Or
no.
I only take cash.
On that note,